Hi, it's Monique. I'm back. I know that it's been a really long time since my last video. A lot has transpired, and I wish it were all for the best and happy, exciting news. But um, the video that I was planning to do on schedule would have taken place late January, and it marks a few anniversaries. And then there was a recent development. Um, January 22nd, as I mentioned in my first video, is the anniversary of my heart attacks. The following year became, and on the same day, the anniversary of my sweet baby Grayson being diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic along with me. I did not want him in my company with that. As I approached my first year dealing with what happened to my health, I had no time to think about it. I was thrust immediately into mother mode, survival mode. What do I need to do for my child? And making sure that he was accepting of it, adjusting, and adapting and adjusting. Praise God, he does. He has told me that he does not blame me, which I naturally, as a mother, went through that blame. Even when he was first born and he had to spend 18 hours in the NICU, I was melancholy in the hospital because of that. But to see him take ownership and to embrace this life change, this health change, and have such a positive attitude about it has it has meant everything. And the fact that it hasn't impacted or inconvenienced his life too much. It's manageable, and he is a very bright young man, and deals with the situation. And he actually confided in me and said that it helps him feel even closer to me because it's something that we share. And for a 13 going on 14-year-old to have that type of outlook on something like this is it's quite remarkable. More recently, this anniversary, which would be his first year anniversary, my second, my mother, a week after celebrating her 81st birthday, had to be admitted to the hospital for cellulitis and sepsis. She has lymphedema, and I think I've mentioned that before, which the fluid that accumulates in the affected areas will oftentimes create blisters, and she had one behind her right knee, knee thigh area. My sister Stacy took her to urgent care, and the doctor that treated her lanced it and advised to let it kind of leak out and heal on its own. It never stopped because of the amount of fluid that continuously produces and impacts her legs. So I monitored it, tried to um, do what wound management that I had experience with, um, and it just was not healing. So we scheduled an appointment. My mom was seen by a wound care specialist, excuse me. They provided some materials that I applied regularly as they instructed, um, but it still, the wound became infected, and we reported it to her primary. He prescribed oral antibiotics, and before she could even really ingest like the first and second doses, we were taking her by ambulance to the hospital, where she was admitted. And that was an ordeal into itself. It's just that the fear initially of the infection, and then in this time of COVID, everything with hospital protocol is very, very, very different than what I experienced 2 years ago. She had to wait nearly 2 days before getting a room because of the infection rates of COVID, and all of the beds being full. She wasn't on a COVID floor, but whether it was because of staffing or the availability of beds, we were never told specifically what the issue was, but she was kept safe. Eventually, she was able to be isolated in a incredibly small room until she was provided a room, or one was available. So I visited regularly, and was the person to bring her home when she was released. I have helped to nurse her back to care when she's had TIAs, also known as mini strokes, and was accustomed to that. It never affected her physical strength. Having had the sepsis, it 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 basically poisoned her blood, and it made her incredibly ill, to the point where she could not walk under her own power. She is very weak. So we were not prepared for that. This whole experience, bringing her home, knowing what her physical limitations were, trying to rapidly acquire the additional medical supplies necessary. She was bedridden. So even the most basic of things, like using the bathroom, has been it has been a lot. My eldest sister, Trisha, and I have been doing the majority of the care, bringing her back, and of course home health has been a tremendous help, if not from a hands-on standpoint to giving us recommendations on how we could effectively nurse her back to health. She is getting better, but with her age and her health history, it was never going to be like a rapid recovery, or something that she could resume her normal routine. We've had to adapt, and for me personally, it's been a daunting struggle of where do I focus my energy, my care, to myself, to my boys, my dogs, and then my mother, and extended family. It is so much. I still cling to prayer and just focus on the task at hand. I can't allow myself to dwell on the emotions of it. Therapy is great. I am grateful for my therapist. I can unload and then kind of void out that space to deal with everything new that's coming in. But thankfully, my mother's health is improving, and what was once overwhelming tasks are somewhat routine. But I had another setback. I have arthritis creeping up on me all over my body, and my back is out today. So even filming this video now, I'm just doing it because I felt like it had been too much time in between the last and this one. I didn't want to linger. I'm running short on time, but I do want to address the obvious. I tried to rock the natural look for like all of these videos, but it's not me. And things have progressed with my appearance to the point where I needed to do something else. So it's still me, just a different look. If I could ever be approved for my permanent disability, which I feel completely entitled or deserving of, I could do something else. But for now, this quick fix will have to suffice. So hitting on all of those, and always coming back to how COVID has been affecting everything, and not in a good way. It's complicated so many health situations that have affected my family, and we keep getting hit like a surfer does out in the ocean, wave after wave after wave. It's just it's dumbfounding. And with extended family, my aunt Janet, and my sisters, everybody has something. I think it's a matter of how you come to terms with it, and how you deal with the issue, and your attitude, and how you cope with it, and hopefully move on, God willing. But on that vein, attitude is everything. You have got to have fight in your spirit. You have got to have that desire in your soul to move on, to have power over what is trying to have power over you. And I want to leave you with that, because that is the only way that I am here, that I'm making these videos, and that I have every plan to move on. Thank you, and best of luck.